we are going to look at the 15 richest painters in the world. We're gonna see how much money they have. We're gonna check the pockets and see how ridiculous this art world shit gets, because I have a feeling that we're all gonna be very, very surprised with how much some of these dudes are raking in. I mean, I'm talking like, can't even keep art on the shelves, just with a rake, just. So I think today, let's see how much these mofos are making.
Walkie slush.
We can all joke that the best waiters went to art school, but it isn't actually true that
That's facts.
all artists die penniless and alone. We've curated a list of 15 living artists that have banked some impressive balances.
Yeah, there's only millions of artists in the world, but we found 15 that make way more than your mama.
Julie Maratu, undisclosed. In 2020, Times named Julie Maratu as one of the most influential people of the year. Born in Addis Ababa to teach her parents, she fled civil unrest to live and be educated in the USA. Her large-scale works look like futuristic architectural plans, and there's a waiting list a few years long to get a hold of one. When they do come up for auction, they easily...
Undisclosed amount of guap. How much would you pay for this giant piece? The first thing about art is, like, the bigger it is, the more expensive it is. It's like an A-B correlation. I don't know what it is, but if it's big, they will come.
Sell well over their estimated value. In 2013, Christie's New York sold her painting Retapistics, a renegade excavation, for $1 million at auction.
Guys, this is number 15, and she's already selling shit for $1 million. They can't even tell us how much she's making. It's undisclosed, but $1 million for one giant painting.
A further 15 of her pieces have sold for over $1 million, making her some solid bank.
Yeah, I'd say that's solid bank. This is only 15. This is gonna get ridiculous. I'm sorry, this is gonna get ridiculous. All you artists out there, it's gonna make you feel real bad about yourself.
Number 14, Georg Baselets, $20 million. One fact most people know about German artist Georg Baselets is that in 1969, he started painting upside down. He did this as an attempt to look past the content-driven character of his younger work and rather focus on the art of painting. He created...
Yo, this man started painting upside down? That's some five-head stuff right there. What? Did he suspend his feet? Like, how do you paint upside down? Like, I want to see this.
His distinct look from influences from African sculpture, manner...
All right, we got to look this shit up. This dude is never going to show us what it looks like to paint upside down. What a fake. I don't believe this guy anymore. I don't believe him. How are you going to claim you paint upside... I mean, all these paintings are upside down, but does that mean he painted them upside down, or he was upside down when he painted? I feel like I'm being lied to.
Period style and the Soviet-era illustrations. What is most impressive is his massive body of work he created over 50 years of continual painting and creating. In 2013, Baselets was quoted as saying, "Women don't paint very well. It's a fact. There are, of course, exceptions." He was referring to the fact that women's works don't get the high price tags of men, which in itself is a conversational and not purely fact-based.
Was he, though? Like, was he referring to that? Or was he really just saying women don't paint very well?
Statement.
I mean, I'm just saying. Is there fact to that? Who's the most famous woman painter? I mean, the first person on this list was a woman painter who was making bands. Probably like 10 milli. She's probably worth like 10 milli.
However, it is true that there are far fewer women that have been recognized for art over the years. But that has a lot more to do with societal norms than talent. Number 13, Chuck Close.
Yo, Chuck Close? Guys, I have actually met Chuck Close. This is a random factoid, but I've actually met Chuck Close. So a few years ago, I was doing some photojournalism work for a local magazine, and I went to the National Portrait Gallery's like ceremony. I forget what exactly it was, but a lot of big like artists and local public figures and just public figures in general were there. Like literally the lady who painted Obama and Michelle Obama's portraits, she was there. She was like a celebrity, but Chuck Close was there, and he was in a wheelchair just like this. And the thing is that I didn't know who Chuck Close was before that night, but everyone was gawking over this guy. Like, Chuck Close, it's Chuck Close, it's Chuck Close. So I was like, who's Chuck Close? So someone explained it to me. He's like this famous modern painter. They had works of his in the National Portrait Gallery here in Washington, D.C. And the funniest thing about Chuck Close is that he was with this really hot young girl. Like, she had to have been like mid to late 20s, smoking hot. It seemed like she must have knew that he was worth $25 million also, because this man was looking real wheelchair bound and she was looking real nice. Maybe she's playing the waiting game. I don't know.
Estimated.
Oh, could you imagine seeing his balls though? Ugh.
Worth $25 million.
Yeesh.
Chuck Close is a prolific, large-scale portrait artist. What makes his art so unique is he produces these massive pieces confined to a wheelchair since 1988. This hasn't stopped his work from being some of the most sought-after canvases in the world, though. Originally, Chuck Close was known for his photo-quality hyperrealism paintings. Since his paralysis, he's adapted his style, but not slowed down his creativity. He paints with a brush strapped to his wrist and colors massive canvases one square at a time to create perfect, detailed portraits using a low-resolution grid of squares.
Wow.
In 2011, Close and other artists sued the New York Christie's and Sotheby's auction houses for systemic royalties fraud. A ballsy move, which might force him to start selling on Etsy one of these days. A piece of Chuck Close's to hang in your home will set you back between $150,000 to $5 million.
Wait, systemic royalties fraud? I want to hear that again.
Selling on Etsy one of these days for a resolution grid of squares. In 2011, Close and other artists sued the New York Christie's and Sotheby's auction houses for systemic royalties fraud. A ballsy move, which might force him to start selling on Etsy one of these days.
That's so messed up.
A piece of Chuck Close's to hang in your home will set you back between $150,000 to $5 million.
Yikes.
Number 12, David Hockney. Net worth $40 million.
Yeesh.
Since his entry into the pop art movement of the 1960s, David Hockney has been an incredible contributor and influential British artist.
They've got like one photo of him.
Don't just lie on canvas. He's also a successful stage designer, draftsman, and photographer. He'll be 84 in 2021, but is still enjoying the spoils of his great career. In November 2018, his work, Portrait of an Artist, sold at auction for $90 million.
Look at that. Would you pay $90 million though? Would you pay $90 million for this though?
This is the most expensive artwork by a living artist ever sold at auction. The previous record was held by
Whoa, time out.
Artist, sold at auction for $90 million. This is the most expensive artwork by a living artist ever sold at auction.
Holy shit.
The previous record...
The most expensive artwork by a living artist is $90 million. What the fudge is going on?
Was held by Jeff Koons, another artist on this list coming up pretty soon. Koons didn't take defeat for long, but more on that a bit later.
Jeff Koons is a wild boy. Let me tell you, I'll talk more about Jeff Koons when we get there, but Jeff Koons is a wild boy.
11. Gerhard Richter. Net worth $40 million.
Eesh.
Gerhard Richter's work is inspired by Picasso and Jean Harp. His imagination has no limits, and he is certainly not limited by medium. He paints in abstract and photorealism style, excels in photography, and has even done glass sculpture, all with the same contemporary style. He's best known for his textured, multicolored, oil-on-canvas abstract style of painting. In October 2020, Gerhard Richter became the most expensive Western artist to sell at an Asian auction when his 1987 abstract painting Abstractes Bild sold for $27.6 million via live stream.
What? 27 milli?
Number 10. Banksy. $50 million. Banksy hardly needs an introduction, which is ironic seeing as no one really knows who he is. But Banksy has moved from stencil street artist to selling pieces at major auction houses in the millions. His playful impressionist piece, Show Me the Monet, completed in 2005, sold through Sotheby's for nearly $10 million.
Do I need to start painting? Like, Do I just got to put down the photography and start painting? Is this the vibes? Because if you notice, every painter happens to be a photographer too. You don't see any famous photographers who happen to be painters. Just saying.
Another piece, Devolved Parliament, sold in 2019 in London for $12 million. Number 9, Bridget Riley, $85 million.
Jesus.
We love this comment on Bridget Riley by art critic Robert Melville, who said, "No painter, dead or alive, has ever made us more aware of our eyes than Bridget Riley," which is such a great description for her dazzling up art pieces that have sold for millions. Her repetitive, clean lines pop out like a magic eye picture and then draw you in. Her 1966 work, Untitled Diagonal Curve, recently sold at Christie's London for $5.7 million, but this isn't the first high roller price tag she's gotten. 2 more of her pieces have fetched over $5 million on the auction block.
Yeesh.
Number 8, Takashi Murakami, 92.
Okay, guys. All right, guys. Let's make some wagers, some bets on who is like top 3. Top 3. All right, I'm gonna name it. It is Damien Hirst. Oh, but he's not a paint. Oh, yeah, he is. Top 3 is Damien Hirst, Jeff Koons, and Thomas Kincaid. Actually, I think Thomas Kincaid is number 1. It's gonna be Thomas Kincaid, Damien Hirst, and then Jeff Koons. I don't think Daniel Arsham is gonna be on that list or on this list, but he looks like he's guapping up these days.
$2 million. Takashi Murakami coined the term superflat, which describes both the aesthetic characteristics of the Japanese artistic traditions and post-war Japanese culture and society. His paintings reflect Japanese culture, and while he's been involved in flat painting, illustration, and animation, it's actually his fashion collaborations that have brought him the most fame. When he collaborated with Louis Vuitton, Takashi Murakami achieved celebrity status. He also created
Guys, you should know Murakami, by the way. He did Kanye collabs, Louis collabs. Obviously, he's done every artist fashion collab, Bape collabs. He's Supreme's done everything.
An album cover for Kanye West, and the world can't get enough of his style. Number 7, David
Cho. What? I mean, I kind of expect to see him on here, but I look. She's probably going to tell you the story before I do, so I'll let her tell it. But this guy's got a crazy story with Facebook.
Cho, net worth $200 million. David Cho is one of the youngest artists on our list today at only 44 years old. He's a graphic novelist of Korean descent known for his American figure murals surrounded with frantic, raw street patterns. His painted figures discover areas of degradation, desire, and adoration in his personally coined dirty style. In 2007, when Mark Zuckerberg asked...
This is the crazy shit. This is how David Cho accidentally made millions. It would have been like accidentally buying 1,000 shares of GameStop like 2 months ago.
Cho to paint some murals at the Facebook offices. Cho made the wise request to be paid in Facebook stock rather than cash. When Facebook went public in 2012, it was a major windfall for Cho. He co-hosts a podcast with Asa Akira, the name of which we can't say here, but it's an interesting name for a lifestyle and entertainment podcast. We'll leave it up to you to research it.
Guys, David Cho needs to get his flowers. If you're watching this, stop watching this and go look up David Cho. Go look up photos of David Cho. There's one photo of him where he has a head-to-toe outfit, and it's a giant printed butthole across his whole outfit. Like, his shirt is literally a butthole, but it's so zoomed in that you can't tell it's a butthole until someone tells you it's a butthole. But yeah, he basically did murals at the original Facebook office, so right place at the right time. Said instead of taking 20K, I'm gonna take stock in this company. 10-head move. But this guy is epic. Like, if you want to know more about him, listen to him on Joe Rogan. He tells some of the craziest stories about when he was like a kid, like when he first left home. He was just traveling the world, just doing shit. He's telling crazy stories about how he was almost raped, about how he's in the middle of like the Congolese jungle searching for Bigfoot, like really crazy shit. Like, this guy is a space cadet to the highest degree, but overall entertaining. He seems like an awesome guy. Like, he deserves more than just like 20 seconds on this little thing.
Number 6, Jasper Johns.
Notable to point out, it's the first Asian person on this list. We've seen all white dudes, one mixed girl who was the 15th, and David Cho.
Estimated.
He's repping. He's repping.
Worth $300 million.
Yeesh.
After the youngest comes the oldest artist on our list, Jasper Johns, topping the chart at 91 years.
What a name.
He's most well known for his 1983 piece Flag, a painting of the U.S. flag, which in 2014 sold for $87 million at auction at Sotheby's.
What?
Number 5. Bryce Martin, $500 million, unconfirmed.
God damn.
Right off the bat, let's get this out of the way. In 2000,
Yo, you haven't even heard of these people. There's artists out there making cake, and you just don't even know about them. They're chilling somewhere in their like rooftop penthouse. Like, you just don't know about them. You don't need to be a super famous to be a successful artist.
2008, Bryce Martin sold a painting at auction at Sotheby's for $9.6 million. His art has evolved throughout his career. He began as a minimalist, painting monochromatic panels. Roman and Greek architecture and then Asian cultures highly influenced his style changes throughout his career. Art critic Peter Schjeldahl described him as the most profound abstract painter of the past 4 decades.
Okay.
Number 4. Jeff Koons.
Damn, I was wrong. Jeff Koons wasn't top 3.
$500 million. Finally, we're at Koons, number 3 on our list and a huge name in the art world. Jeff Koons hasn't always been a high roller. He started off like most other artists, struggling to keep his hokey Soho loft. But through his prolific career, he's worked up from art school graduate to a massive Chelsea studio owner. He owns a 1,500-meter square factory near Hudson
Square factory of artists.
rail yards in Chelsea, with between 90 to 120 employees working on all number of Koons projects. Here he produces his massive reflective sculptures and oversized Warhol-esque canvases. But what was the piece that broke the record? It was the balloon dog, orange. Not actually a painting, rather a sculpture, but sold for $58.4 million.
Woo! A calm 58.4 milli. You know, I've actually seen Jeff Koons' pieces live. Like, I've seen mini ones at local art galleries, but I don't know how big this one is. You know, I'm sure the 90 to 100 artists he employs in New York, they probably let go a few miniature, what are they? Miniature balloon dogs. So, you know.
To an anonymous phone bidder in 2013. But in 2018, Hockney sold his.
Guys, you need to know something real quick. These are not made from balloons. These are metal. Like, these are solid metal works. Like, this shit is not, like, he does such a good job at making it look like a balloon, but no, these are not balloons. This is like metal. It's like steel. It's really cool.
Piece for $90 million. Then by 2019, Koons had regained his title by selling Rabbit at Christie's for $91 million. Apparently all's fair in love and art. Number 3.
I called it. Damien Hirst, top 3. $1 billion. Who's number 1? Number 1's Thomas Kinkade. I know you don't want to hear, but Thomas Kinkade is number 1. He has to be.
Damien Hirst, net worth $1 billion. Before becoming an artist, Damien Hirst could probably be described as an art critic and entrepreneur. Many of his pieces are a commentary on other art and design, and his take on iconic pop references earn him an absolute fortune and legend status as an art elite. No one has made polka dots as provocative or animals in formaldehyde quite as appealing or appalling as Damien Hirst has, and he has the billions to show for it. Since being named a member of the Young British Artists in the 1990s, he's been on a non-stop path of success. He's considered the United Kingdom's richest living artist, and with $1 billion banked, we would tend to agree.
Yo, let me show you some Damien Hirst. Let me put you guys onto game. This is why Damien Hirst is the GOAT. This man literally took a calf and a cow. He split them in half and put them in formaldehyde. You can literally walk in between them and look at the insides of a cow or an animal.
Number 2. Ed Ruscha, $1.2 billion.
Who's this?
Ed Ruscha is another American artist, but of the pop art movement. His work depicts iconic Southern California. He sold more than 50 paintings for over $1 million and one for $6 million, with some change to spare. Number 1. John Curran.
Whoa, time out. Who are these guys? I don't... Look at this. This guy's the second richest art painter in the world, and he got a 5-second bid. We gotta look this guy up. Ed Ruscha. Ed Ruscha. Ed Ruscha. Honey, I twisted through more damn traffic to get here. Oh, pay nothing until April. This guy does a lot of text work, but what's interesting is that he painted those mountains and then he put the text on it. Missing works? What? Look at this. If you have information about the location of any of these works featured in this section and would like to contact Catalog Raison with it, please click below. Wait, what? He has stolen pieces? Guys, we need to find these pieces. He's got a list of stolen pieces. These are all paperworks that have been stolen. Gunpowder and pastel on paper. I like that he does text-based. That's really interesting. This is so crazy. Missing works? That's so cool. I want to find out more about him. Why is there a link just to his about? This is crazy. Artists always have the shittiest websites. Like, why do artists have the worst websites? Like, it's never all there. Like, he doesn't care. He's the second most paid painter in the world, but you wouldn't guess by looking at this that, like, guys, we gotta look up John Curran. We can't just let this slide. We can't just let this slide. Gagosian. Let's look at John at the Gagosian. Oh, Jesus. I'm gonna get demonetized, but this is art though, right? Since it's art, this is okay. Those aren't real boobies. That's a painting, so it's fine. Jesus, we were just treated with a set of honkers right there. Oh my God, I was not expecting that. But I mean, if it's art, aren't we okay? Because on Twitch, they literally have girls painting their voluptuous titties. Like literally, girls with the most perfect, they're just literally painting their titties. So if they can do that, then I can show art with nudity. I think it's fine. So guys, that is the top 15 painters in the world. We had 2 women on there, 13 men, and 2 ethnic looking people. I don't know. I have nothing to say on that. I'm sure some people do, but that's just where it lies with the 15 richest painters in the world. Not gonna lie, I thought Thomas Kincaid would have been on there. It kind of seems like a little bit of an oversight, but he may not be the most, what is it? He might not be one of the 15 richest painters in the world. He just has a massive business, and his paintings are literally in 1 in 10 of every home in America. Take that with you.